I actually did a video on my YouTube channel, and the title was about heterosexual women who wish they were lesbians. Something along those lines. It's been a while ago since I did the video, but it was along those lines. And I've met some women who are heterosexual or they're bisexual and they wanted to be lesbians. And they had their reasons for feeling that way or thinking that way. But this video message today will kind of touch on that, but it also will be about how there's some people who think that lesbians are able to change women's sexual orientation from straight to gay. But also, I kind of want to touch on how there's a lot of talk in news or entertainment reports about the industry, whether it's the movie industry or music industry, for example, and how there's so many people who are allegedly gay or homosexual. And they tend to focus on men, but they kind of overlook women who are lesbians. If you notice, like, the entertainment industry primarily focuses on heterosexual women or bisexual women, but rarely ever lesbians. And the only time they discuss lesbians, they do not give an accurate, true account of real lesbians. They always want to pollute either the music or the movies with images of lesbians who ultimately succumb to being with a man. And I've touched up on that topic on my YouTube channel as well. And I just kind of want to discuss all of that here because with the way that the climate is in society right now, with all of the changes, political, economical, social changes that have been brewing for a long time and ultimately are coming to a head. And we're going to see a lot of changes very, very soon. It's already happening, but come 2025, you're going to see some things. And I just want to speak to you today. I hope that you enjoyed your Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I definitely had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I don't always announce like happy Thanksgiving or happy holidays or whatnot, even though I do hope you have a wonderful holiday season. I just have mentioned before that I don't necessarily celebrate the holiday season the way most people do, but I do celebrate being with loved ones, and I think that's important. So I hope that you enjoyed yourself and create the life that you desire, because you don't have to do what everybody else is doing to feel like you are a part of traditional society, especially when you are a lesbian or same-sex attracted person or within the LGBTQIA plus community. You have to create your own existence, create your own joy and happiness. And that's what I do. Now, I will say this, and I'll get into the topic. I was at my family's house, and I was parked perfectly. You know how you park on the side of the street? You park because a lot of people are parked in the parking lots and whatnot. And somebody hit and run my car yesterday, completely sideswiped my car, knocked my rear view mirror off. I was so upset because I take really good care of my car, and it was so upsetting because, people get crazy. They wait till a holiday to just really let themselves act a fool. If they're drunk, if they're angry, if they just want to just drive and speed on the road. For one, it's a very nice residential area. You're not supposed to be speeding, and you're not supposed to drive drunk. So I know it had to be a drunk driver. It was a hit and run, and they just sideswiped my car. So that was very, very upsetting because that happened. But other than that, I had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I know that the devil likes to try to mess up your joy. But I was upset because, again, being upset, I've mentioned, is a natural, healthy emotion because it lets you know that something is wrong. So being upset is not a problem. But I just would not let that, ruin my whole day. And I'm not going to let it ruin my holiday weekend. I'll just have to get it repaired. But be safe out there, everyone. Don't drink and drive. Don't wait until it's a holiday to go out here going crazy because there's people out and about with their friends and their families, and you should care about people. But if you don't, then you don't need to be anywhere around anyone, and you especially don't need to be behind a vehicle driving. All right, so now continuing on with my message, I am Giselle Wallace, lesbian life coach and author. I do provide my lesbian perspective here on my YouTube channel. And if that interests you, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like and share the video as well. Thank you. So I've titled my video message today, Can You Turn Into a Lesbian? And there are so many people who do believe that you can turn into a lesbian. Now, what does that really mean? That means that you were previously a heterosexual woman, and it's presumed that something happened, usually something tragic or something sinister or tricky occurred in a woman's life, or maybe she is an adolescent, a young girl or a teenager. Something happened that caused her to transition from being a heterosexual female, and suddenly she turned into a lesbian. That's the concept generally. And there are also the medical views, like, for example, there's conversion therapy, which allows mental health care professionals to perform procedures and tools and techniques to coerce a person into changing their sexual orientation from heterosexual to homosexual. And mind you, conversion therapy is not proven to be a valid and a legit form of treatment or therapy to change a person's sexual orientation or their gender identity. But unfortunately, it is legal in many states. It's legal in my state. And I'm actually a victim of conversion therapy. And the good news, I can profess that it does not work because I am a lesbian. Always have been, always will be. I have a quote, once a lesbian, always a lesbian, end quote. But I still need to address this topic. Can you turn into a lesbian? My answer would be no. But I'm aware that there are some women who want to be lesbians. And they're heterosexual, they're bisexual, for example, and they have their own reasons why they wish they were lesbians. I've talked to women who felt this way. But I've also seen the extreme, the other opposite extreme, where there have been lesbians who want to be heterosexual. And this is actually more common than women who want to be lesbians. And the reasons why is because we live in a very heteronormative society. We live in a very homophobic society. We live in a patriarchal society, which has programmed women from birth to be heterosexual females. And if you are not a heterosexual female, then you will experience a lot of coercion, brainwashing, pressure, as well as discrimination, and even mistreatment, physical, emotional, mental mistreatment for not conforming to this heteronormative patriarchal society. This is a fact. It's not an opinion. So there are more women or female women who experience trying to change their sexual orientation from lesbian to heterosexual. But what about when women are heterosexual or bisexual? Can they really turn into a lesbian? Well, that would actually completely defy what sexual orientation entails. Sexual orientation is your inborn desire to have relationship with another human being. And it entails physical attraction and interest, emotional, mental, spiritual, and sexual attraction and interest in a human being. And usually you will be attracted to either the opposite sex or the same sex. But there are some people who are attracted to both sexes. So everybody has a sexual orientation. But why are people so concerned that you can turn into a lesbian? The reason why they're so concerned is because they fear losing women. They fear that once you are a lesbian or once you turn into a lesbian, that you're lost forever. Another one bites the dust. We don't have any control over this woman. It stems from the desire to control women. I just recently did a video titled "More Women Will Be with Women," end quote. If you haven't listened to the video, please go listen to that video, because it's going to highlight and explain more about why this world is so obsessed with controlling and restricting the sexuality and sexual orientation of women. because that's really what it is. Everything that you pay attention to, beginning with your family, branching out into the school sector, the work sector, the church sector, the political sector, the news and entertainment sector, every industry that you can possibly think of has always painted women to be a certain way. And usually that image is a heterosexual woman. But there's a huge world out here. And there's a side of women that the world wants to keep a secret. It's almost like being a lesbian is a secret society. I've even talked about a video that I titled Sorority Lesbians, because it's like a secret society of lesbians. It really is. And there's nothing wrong with having a secret society. It doesn't mean that you are a criminal. It's just the world wants to be blind. The world wants to be deceived and ignorant to the truth. And if you get caught up in the way the world wants you to think and view things, then you will behave just like them. It's all performative behavior. If you're not being your authentic self, you're performing. So lesbians are very powerful women because they go against the grain. And there are women who are heterosexual women and bisexual women, and they actually admire lesbians. They admire lesbians for their beauty and their strength and their authenticity. We're very unique, rare human creatures. So I can kind of understand why a woman would want to turn into a lesbian. I've met heterosexual women who told me this in person. I've met women who told me that I wish I could be a lesbian. I would date you. Right? I've known heterosexual women who've actually slept with women because they wanted to turn into a lesbian. But you can't really deny or change your sexual orientation. So you're going to be heterosexual. As a matter of fact, I've learned that there are more women who have experienced so much heartache and pain and drama by dealing with men to the point where they did not want to be straight. They didn't want to be straight women. And I've heard them say they actually hated men. And you know, I've actually told a guy before, I've felt this way before, you know, without even verbally expressing it to a guy, where they may think that lesbians hate men, which is very false. I said, you know, believe it or not, there are more heterosexual women who hate men than lesbians. Now, I'm not saying that lesbians are exempt from hating men, because, you know, hate is a deep seated disdain and anger for a person, place, or thing. And hate is not necessarily wrong because God hates sin. But we live in a world where it's backwards. They've taught you everything the opposite of what it really is. Because people will believe a lie before they will believe the truth. But yeah, I've actually met more heterosexual women who hate men than lesbians. And I could understand why. I mean, because heterosexual women, they are involved with men all the time. Whereas lesbians, we don't have to deal with men like that. We don't even have a desire to be with a man in a romantic and sexual manner. So it makes sense that heterosexual women could hate a man more than lesbian. And it doesn't mean that these heterosexual women are evil, because they're not. They've just been treated very harshly and unfairly by men. So it makes sense why they want to turn into lesbians. But to them, it's unfortunate that they can't turn into lesbians. But I say no, be yourself, embrace your sexual orientation. And you don't have to be with a man even though that you're heterosexual. But that also means that you don't have to be with a woman either. You can be single, or you can date a man who is a decent, godly man. So you have a choice as a woman, but you don't have a choice when it comes to your sexual orientation. And then I just want to talk about, lesbians having this supernatural ability to turn out heterosexual women. Well, I tell you what, a woman only does what she wants to do. So although lesbians have dated heterosexual women, I'm sure they have, the heterosexual woman has to agree to being in a relationship with a lesbian. So yes, it does happen. Lesbians get together with heterosexual women, sure. But that still doesn't change the heterosexual woman. She's still a heterosexual woman. Those relationships really don't last. And you have to understand the intention of a woman, why she chooses to go against her natural sexual orientation, whether she's heterosexual or lesbian. And then finally, what about, people's obsession with entertainers and celebrities being gay? And they're primarily focused on men, especially if you're Black. Yeah. Well, there's all this talk about gay rituals. Do I think gay rituals are really happening? Sure, absolutely, I do. Yeah, I know they happen, but even in gay rituals, it doesn't mean that a person is really naturally gay. They're probably forced into performing homosexual sexual acts, but that doesn't mean they're gay. But women, that's a whole nother topic. Because what they'll do, and the days are the days, the people that you don't see, the names that you don't know, the secret rituals that are going on in the world, that everybody is trying to figure out. Well, everybody wants a woman to be with a man. So the focus is not really on, can I get her to become gay? No. Can I get her to turn straight? Is really what's happening. But then, if she can't be straight, well, let's make her be bisexual, because I just want to be able to sleep with her as a man. Oh, all I have to say is, God, protect women. Lord God, protect all women. Lord God, protect all Black women. That's what I say. And start with protecting yourself, ladies, by accepting yourself for who you are and loving yourself. And learn self-defense. But these gay rituals that's going on, well, are you agreeing to the gay rituals? Because there's a lot of people agreeing to the gay rituals. Because agreeing to the gay rituals is quite different from being forced into gay rituals. But just be yourself. Love yourself. Put God first. And ultimately, can you turn into a lesbian? No, you can't. But you can do whatever you want to do. But do what's best for you. Do what's best for you. And I can just attest to you that being myself, being a Black lesbian woman, is the best thing I could ever be. And I'm not performing. It's not an act. It's not a ritual. It's not a curse. I'm not confused. I'm not deceived. I'm not hurt. I'm me. And I encourage you to wholeheartedly be you. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Join my mailing list, because you never know if we will end up being out of touch on social media. Anything could happen with the way technology is happening, all of these outages going on. A lot of people are leaving, creating mass exoduses from social medias. For example, there's a lot of people who are leaving X and Twitter. But we always need to stay in touch somehow, some way. And that's why I welcome you to join my mailing list. Email in to be added to the mailing list. My email address is info@GiselleAWallace.com. That's INFO@GiselleAWallace.com. And I look forward to building with you as a community. Thank you for listening, and you have a gay day.